Live? Just want to bring it up here. Yep, see the comments on. Oh, I moved that over there for a second. Heavy. Yep. Best of luck. Thank you, Debbie. Meatballs. Good evening, everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you're all well. It's been a lovely day, isn't it? I hope it's like that for the week. Beautiful sunshine. Yeah, we're here this evening instead of yesterday evening. Yesterday evening I had something else popped up and I had to cancel it, but I'm sure you all managed to eat okay today. This evening I'm going to do some meatballs, nice meatballs. You've seen the picture there, and I'm going to season them up with a few spices just to change it up a little bit. As they say on TV, meatballs with a twist. And let's see how that goes. What we're going to be using, we're going to be adding fennel seed into it. Okay, beautiful fennel seed, chili powder, chili flakes, oregano, rosemary. So you can see all the flavors are going to be really, really nice. We're going to be adding some Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan cheese. And as far as the meat goes, we're going to be adding some lovely sausages and beef mince. And I'll go along quite slowly. I'll be posting the recipe afterwards if you want to follow along. And if you have any questions or comments, just throw them into the comment section, and Sarah will ask me any questions. Dangerous looking weapon there, Pat. Yeah, it is dangerous looking, isn't it? Bit of a Crocodile Dundee going on there. But if you have any comments or questions or anything, just ask. Okay, right. I'm going to start with the sauce. I'm going to do a very simple sauce without all the fluff of cooking and all this. This is the kind of peeled plum tomatoes, okay? And it's going to be, basically what I'm going to do with the sauce, I'm not going to cook it now, I'm going to prepare it so that when I make the meatballs, we'll cook it all together. I'm just going to put a full can of those lovely plum tomatoes in there.
Someone said the sound isn't great.
The sound isn't great, okay. Just give me 1 second. Give me that for a second. Let me just fix this. That should be better. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Let's get a confirmation there. Any substitute for fennel seed? I'm highly allergic. Is fennel an allergen? I wasn't aware of that. Or you just don't like it. You don't have to put fennel seed at all into the Aoife. You know, put whatever spice you like. You know, even basil seeds or, you know, any dried spice. What I'm trying to do is just build a few different types of flavors. Personally, I love fennel, but by all means, just omit it, okay, altogether. And caraway seed is quite nice. If you like caraway seed, I wouldn't use it much because it's quite strong, but it is a good alternative. Anyway, is my sound okay now? Yeah, yeah. Okay, back to my sauce. So basically, just a tin of plum tomatoes, okay? Not the chopped ones. The chopped ones might be a bit too liquidy, okay? Sometimes these can be a bit bitter, and I'm just going to add a little bit of sugar in there, just a little pinch of sugar, okay, just to counteract the bitterness. Now I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder. It's about half a teaspoon in there, okay, and a little bit of salt as well, okay. I'm going to add a touch of oregano. about, again, half a teaspoon. And that's it. Now I'm going to get my hand mixer. This one has a turbo button. I don't want to use the turbo. I just want to use the normal mix. But I'm not going to crush it. I'm just going to pulse it like that. Just to break up the tomatoes. Because I want a few bits of lump in it. I still want to have a bit of texture in the sauce. There you go. We're done already. Look at that. Perfect. That's your sauce. Very, very simple. Very basic. That's going to be our sauce for the meatballs. Now, for the meatballs, it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but you'll see as we go along. I'm going to use one of these. It's pestle and mortar, which has had an accident. It fell a long, long time ago, but it's still a damn good one. All this part is more important, and I still have the part that crushes all the spices. And I'm just going to put the fennel seeds in there on their own, and just break them up. Without making a powder of them, I'm just going to break them up. If you don't have one of these, because they're not in every kitchen, you can put them into a mixer, a blender, and just pulse it again, like I was doing with that sauce. Just zoom, zoom, just till they break up a bit. They don't have to be completely powder. So there you can see, that's really enough already. Now I'm going to add the rest of my spices. I'm going to add some chili flakes. Get them all in there. Some oregano. Let me move that there for a second. I need some chopped fresh tarragon. Or sorry, not tarragon, rosemary. Just going to chop that up. This is growing wild everywhere. You can pick it on the bushes as you're walking by, and just bring it home, give it a quick wash, and you get free rosemary. That'll do. Just going to put that in there as well. And just give it a quick rub around. And the smell of all these binding together is really, really nice. Now, so there, look, we have a lovely multicolored air of spices ready to season our meat. Now for the meat, I have 500 grams of mince, nice beef mince, and I'm going to add the meat of 2 sausages in there. So you don't have to, if you don't want to put sausages, you can use pork mince, which is quite acceptable as well. I'm just going to throw 2 of them in there. Take off the casing. I find it nice and easy. You squash from the middle out that way, turn it around, and you do the same on the opposite side. Oops. These are the slightly bigger sausages, so if you've got small ones, you can add 3 or 4. This is a base recipe, so it's really what you want to put into it yourself. Now, next up, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard in there. Any questions so far, Sarah? No. Okay. That's the Dijon mustard there. If you remember the time I made the burgers, I was using that as well. I just put it down there so you can see it, Dijon mustard. I'm going to add my Parmesan cheese, which is grated. It's about 35 grams there. That's going to help. It's going to help on 2 levels. One, it's going to help to bind the meatballs, and 2, it's going to season it, because Parmesan cheese can be a little bit salty, and it's a little crunch texture as well, which is really, really nice and tasty. I'm also going to add panko breadcrumbs. You can use fresh if you want. I use the panko, which are the dried ones, Japanese ones. I'm going to try and let you hear the crunch there in my microphone. So they're a lot drier, and what they're going to do is help soak up any juices that we have as well, so that they all stay in the meatballs. I'll put in about 2 tablespoons of that.
What percentage is the beef?
The one I have here is it's 10% fat percent. 10% fat percent. Same as me, 10% fat, maybe. I'm also going to add an egg. Put that in there. So it's all in one bowl. Everything's going in at one time. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Now, just be careful with the salt. Maybe you can add some more after. I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon there. And because the Parmesan is also salty, so you don't want it too salty. And again, at the end, if you find it's a little bit undersalted, we can add it to the sauce and that, you know. So I'd always, with seasoning, particularly salt, I'd always just try err on the under seasoned side, because you can put it in, but you can't take it out. That's the saying in the kitchens. So now we're ready. Everything's in there, and what we're going to do is I'm going to get the glove on, and I'm going to mix it. And this is a great one for the kids. You get the kids around doing this now. They love this, because you just get in there and mix it all together.
Jeff normally says nice thermal mix, chef.
Oh yeah, Jeff, yeah. Do you want to buy it? It keeps me warm at night, Jeff, that Thermomix. So now, nice and seasoned meatballs. Now, just a suggestion, because I know we're all in lockdown, we're all impractical. Like that's just going to give you. What I do with this now, I usually make it into small little balls of about 15 grams, and I usually get about 50 to 55 out of it. You can do bigger ones if you want. It's really entirely up to you. But what I would suggest, when you are making the meatballs, try and make them all about the same size, so that they'll all cook evenly. So if you're doing larger ones, fine, but do them all large, you know. And I don't mean great big, huge ones, but try keep them quite small. Now you can see there, it's all nicely mixed there, okay? Perfect. I'll take off my glove. I'm going to put in my spices now. I'm going to give that a good mix. I should have kept the glove on and did it.
Can you give a quick recap on the mix, please?
The mix is fennel. Okay. I have 500 grams of beef. I've about 2 sausages, 2 tablespoons of fennel seed, crushed, half a teaspoon of chili powder, half a teaspoon of oregano, about 1 tablespoon of chopped rosemary, 2 tablespoons of panko breadcrumbs, 35 grams of Parmesan grated cheese, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, and 1 egg. So it's all mixed up there, okay, together, and the smell is beautiful. Yeah. Okay, next we're going to make our meatballs. So I find the quickest way to make the meatballs, I'm just going to show you quickly. Did I bring my cling film? Or I can use a lid, yeah. Just put something on your scales. Set it to 0. And just wet your hands, because they tend to stick. If you wet your hands and just roll them like that in your wet hands, they won't stick. That's what you want, little balls like that. Okay, and try and keep them all about the same size. And these are all turning out about 18 grams each. So you can do them between 15 and 20 grams each. And as I say, this is great just to get the kids around and let them all make different sizes, you know, let them all sort of, not different sizes, but let everybody sort of get the ball rolling, as they say. And if they stick to your hands, again, just run them under a cold tap like that. Wet your hands, and that'll help to seal them. And it won't stick. So I'm not going to make 50 of these now, because this class could get very boring very quickly. I'll do that after. And I've always wanted to do this. Here's one I made earlier. Here are some I made earlier. Because once you've got them all balled up like that, what you want to do is turn on your heat. Yeah. And we get a hot pan, a little drop of oil. And what we're going to do, we're going to fry the meatballs in there. I'll just turn this off. So I get that nice and hot. Our meatballs, you see, they're all about 15 to 20 grams each. Throw them in there. It doesn't have to be hot because it's going to start sizzling there anyway. And as you can see, they're all about the same size, so they're all going to cook at about the same time. So you don't want to make big ones and then wait for them to cook it while the little ones are overcooking. There we go. So we're going to let them sizzle away there for a moment. While they're doing, I'm just going to prepare a little bit of garnish. We're going to do a mozzarella ball, and you just get your mozzarella ball out like that. And discard the water. And I'm just going to cut it in half, like so, and then just in little strips like that. These are really nice with the tomato sauce and the meat. And that's going to be our garnish. If you want, sometimes, depending on how much you pay for the mozzarella balls, I find those Tesco ones are quite good. They're quite dry, they're not too wet. You can just leave them on a cloth, just let them dry out a little bit. Yeah, leave them there. See there, you're getting lovely colour there already. And they're not spicy. I know we put some spice in there, some chili and stuff, but they're not overly spicy. If you want to take it that direction, do add more chilies. You know, so what I've given you is a recipe. It's a starting recipe, but do add more if you like them a bit more spicy. You add garlic powder in there if you like. It's quite nice. There's no garlic in these at all. And I would recommend you to use, somebody was asking me there about the percentage of fat in the mince. I was using 10%, so you can get 5%. I would recommend you to use a high percentage fat, a low percentage fat, because if that was 15% or 20%, I know what you can buy is cheaper mince, but they're going to end up swimming in the grease, and you lose the ball altogether. It'll just shrink up on you completely. So you want to keep the sort of size, form factor that by buying a lesser percentage fat of mince. Or go to your butcher. That's be your best bet. Normally the butcher's mince meat is quite good. You can see that lovely crunch we're getting on the outside of that, okay? Now what we're going to do next is add our sauce into that. So it's all going to be done at the same time. And because they're quite small, they're going to cook quite quickly as well. And I'm going to let the sauce reduce a bit as well. Just put it in there like that. Now just be careful when you're putting that in, it doesn't splatter back at you. And I'm just going to turn it down a bit now. You just want it on a sort of fast simmer now until the meatballs are cooked. I've nearly put the whole tin in there, okay? This would serve about 4 people if you have spaghetti. And they're cooking away there now in the sauce. Any questions? Yeah? No?
Do people say that they made your sweet and sour recipe? And it was delicious.
Oh, somebody made it, did they? Brilliant. Yeah, no, it's a nice recipe, that sweet and sour, yeah. Lots of people are making the dishes, and I really, really love to see that. It sort of makes it worthwhile, and I really appreciate your feedback. Loads of people are sending me pictures and private messages to thank me and stuff, and it's really, really wonderful. Even the pizzas, I've sold all the pizzas but before the week even began there on Monday, or this Saturday.
How did you make the sauce?
The sauce, I just put a tin of plum tomato in there. Little bit of salt, little bit of sugar because sometimes they can be quite bitter. Little bit of oregano, a bit of onion powder, and just pulsed it. That's my sauce. I didn't even cook it, so the sauce is being cooked as we speak. And you can see there, it's becoming not syrupy, but it's reducing. And when something is reducing in the kitchen, that means the water is going off. That's all the steam, and we're just left with the flavour, and we're just strengthening the flavours as it reduces. And I can taste that there, and all the spices from the meatballs are coming out, and they're nearly cooked. They shouldn't be on now. Now, let me just check the comments there, see if there's anything. Derek Lawler, you made the sweet and sour, well done. Oh, with pork, yeah, it works well with pork, Derek, yeah. And you'd never want to lose your ball. I knew to be a few ball comments in there, all right, yeah. I'm trying to keep it very clean here, Derek McNichols. Butcher mince meat, much nicer than supermarket mince. Exactly, Anita, you're dead right. Looks amazing. I'll make this tomorrow. Looks yum. Thank you, Lydia. Thank you, Olivia. You're very welcome. Hi, BB. Will you put the recipe up after? I will, Lydia. Yeah, the recipe will be up after. Thank you, Gillian. Yeah. Replying to Lydia. Me too. Okay, so you can see there, look, see the way it's thickening there? That's what you want, that nice. Now, at this stage, if you want, just add your spaghetti in there and turn it all around in the sauce and throw it into a big bowl in the middle of the table, and your family will be very, very happy. Or just eat it all yourself. But that was quick, you know, it's quite a big, quick dish. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it into two of these. I'm going to make them look nice.
Hello from San Francisco.
Hello from San Francisco. Wow, who's that?
PP Twinkle Toast.
Think. Who is it? Twinkle Toes. I can't see them. That's a funny name. San Francisco. Hi, Twinkle Toes from San Francisco. Oh, look. I'm losing my balls. As I say, I'm trying to keep this clean, but there's a few people out there really egging me on. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? So I'm going to put a little bit of cheese.
Angela says hello from Animo.
Animo, how are you doing out in Animo? Hope you're keeping well. A bit of cheese there. Now what you can do with that is put it under the grill, or just leave it sitting there for a bit, because that cheese is quite soft and it'll just melt onto the balls. And then just a little bit of basil leaf. And again, you can do it with spaghetti, you can do it whatever way you want. It's really up to you. Just tear a little bit of basil in there. And that's beautiful meatballs with a very simple sauce that's been done in less than 20 minutes, seriously, from scratch. And the only time consuming part of that is rolling the meatballs. But you can do that as a family. Now, do we have any questions? Let me just see. Beautiful balls out on the counter, Pat Lawler. Is that a Wicklow thing? Thank you, Dara. Yeah, it's our balls are well presented out there. Thank you very much, Dara. See, that's the Dublin dirt creeping into these videos. Paul Canning, how are you doing, mate? Haven't seen him in years. Looks yummy, Pat. Thank you, Bernie. It's just a different way of doing it, you know, and the flavour is, it's a nice way to get flavour into the meatballs, you know, with the spices and that, and it's a little bit different. And again, if you don't like one thing, just leave it out, omit it, try your own different spices, but sometimes meatballs can be boring, and I like to make them a little bit spicy, tasty. So there you go, that's meatballs with a twist, and hope you try it out. Please do. Please share this if you like it, and I'll be posting up the recipe later on if anybody's interested, and that's it. I have no more comments anyway now. Okay, right, thank you very much. Bye.